Okay, I cleaned up the edges on this, drilled the little holes for the fiber optics. So we'll get this glued together and curing overnight as well. So this was 1992. Part of the Ertl, even though it's MPC. So Ertl must have been in with MPC back in the day. So yeah, let's trying to think. I already drilled a hole down here. What I did as I held those two together, I started drilling in the back, but this kind of overhangs, so I was afraid it wouldn't make it. So I got one here, and then I drilled up through there for the fiber optics to come through, and then transferred it like this, since there's a little notch you can see, and that way they can come down into the hull. So let's get these fiber optics through, and usually the best way is to come in through the way I drilled because of the burrs. Now, those are all probably, these guys are going to come in here like this, so we'll leave a good amount. It's got to go to the front, right? Yeah. That should be able to curl around in there somewhere. Got a little piece of tape just to temporarily hold it. Well, I'll use tape even permanently hold it, but bugs. Getting a lot of bugs up in here this year. I don't know where they're sneaking in. Alright, and that should be enough. Because if you stick that down there, that can go anywhere in there. So I think we got plenty. We can pull some of that back. Pull some of that back. That's a lot. There we go. And I like to leave a good amount sticking through in case you bang it and bend it and do all kinds of stuff like that. It won't snap right at there. And this one should take care of the other one. And this one I drilled so it's a little more forward, just like I did on the wings. So it's on the forward kind of approach. And this one will be more the top. Because to me that makes a little more sense than having both on the top. Alright. What we'll do is we'll match that. And then we'll use this piece of tape to keep it in this hole. And tape works fine for these little fiber optics. There's no real stress. At least it keeps them stable inside there. And we're going to use this piece of tape like that to kind of help loop that up so it wants to stick out of here more straight. So I push a little, but we can get rid of this extra. Like I said, I like to leave a little bit. That'll always work for something. Always save it. Probably up in here. Well, there I'm going to use different colored ones and even smaller. I'm not sure what these are, because this fiber optics I got like in a bundle. It's when they cut ends off of a big roll, whether they're making orders or something, you know, and they're making spools maybe or something like that. But these are, you get them really cheap, and a lot of times they have a mixture, but this looks like they're all the same. But you get them really cheap because they're the ends of rolls or something like that, and they're just cutting it off. And they, you know, they're good enough to sell for like people like me or like us that just need random instead of buying an actual spool or where you buy them like this already cut in lengths. Well, there we go. Now we can glue this guy down. And let that sit overnight, and our cockpit's sitting overnight. We'll run a little tulip on the edges here, especially in the front, because we will have a fiber optic. I think I'm going to sit it. Do I sit it up here so it's all together? Like glue it to the top? Not sure. Probably should. Or at least glue it down here and then get them all in to the tube and then close it. But I was wondering if I had it here, all the fiber optics are just kind of going right. Wherever that bug is, he's really getting to me. He keeps going in on my head. At least if I put it here, all the fiber optics and wires and everything are right in this piece, but this is where I need the power going and attaching to. So yeah, we'll do that down here. And I have to see how the tubing can slide right into this area here to get the power through. Like I said, I might just run the wire. It'll be easier to hide than run a piece of styrene tube. But I'm rambling like usual. Alright, let's get some of this glue. This one here doesn't have such big areas to catch the inside of this channel here. Get rid of that little extra tape that's rolling up the wall there. So this should be fun. It's kind of hard, you know, the locating pins aren't, or these things aren't really as deep. All right. It went on pretty good. We'll start doing this. Get some tape to hold it down. Fiber optics in the hole, yep. And there you just slid ya, didn't ya? I don't know, we're still good. It might have popped out for a second. So let's get one up top. And that'll hold everybody from wanting to twist. I'm just going to hit some strategic areas just to keep it tight. That way I can get some of this Tamiya extra thin in there on these seams to really close it up. Now I can get this in here. We better get one there. It's plain. I want to pop open while you're doing this. And then when we take the tape off, we can close it up a little better. And we're going to put more strips of tape too. Probably should. Let's close that up before it dries up. Probably should get a couple pieces of tape ready so I can kind of go tape up as I'm going. That's always the key, is having stuff ready. I never remember to do that. And a nice thing that they made the seam kind of on one edge, is you can just ride one edge in that channel, and you know, they didn't break the seam. They didn't make two lips and then the seams in the middle. They just made one part had the lip and then it just closes, so that makes it so much nicer. You don't have a seam to putty. Plus, then you can just lean to that one side for this extra thin, and it just channels its way really quick. I need a couple more. What, 2? Alright, there we go. We got 2 ready. Okay, let's get this edge. All while being careful of the fiber optics here. There we go. We are looking good. I don't see any gaps except for down here, which I'll probably just hit with a clamp. Where's that seam? I guess right there, yeah. Because even this peg is only on one side. This is overly crucial because it's going to need something a little stronger than that little guy. Well, that's going to be hidden down below. You won't ever even see any of that, but we can putty what we don't want. There we go. Let's shine them up into the light. See if we see lights coming through them. Yep. Nice. And I think these will be plenty big because once I cut them and then mushroom them over, it'll give you a nice end there. So make sure this is all tight because those extra thins are very solvent based and they'll evaporate. And you'll come back and it'll be completely empty. Well, depending on how long. Now this here, they left to put little panel pieces in. So I'm going to wait to put them in. Because I'll probably paint them kind of like I did with the AT-AT, where I'll have that a shade off. Just to give it a little different panel colors. And I might do that in some other panels too. But I think mainly it's just going to be one color. But I think I want to paint those panels a little different. According to this picture here, which I believe is an actual studio shot, these 3 back here will shade off a little bit. I wish they gave you a little, back in the day they gave you a little more model pictures of one build, but that's okay. There's plenty online to get ideas. But there we go. We'll let all this stuff sit overnight. Well, hello and welcome back. As we can see here, the shuttle Tydirium's come along pretty good. We got this glued up last night and let it sit. I took most of the tape off, but I dry fitted her just to see what she's looking like. And it's going to be a nice size ship. Not bad. Nothing new happened here. I just had to clean up the flashing. I mean, the flashing was so perfect there, it looked like it was part of it was an actual edge. I started working on the base. I just hit it with a black. Right now, the star part that sits on top of here, I just hit with a silver, and I drilled a hole for that to sit in on the star part, so this will all be sitting up like that. But I had to drill a little bit here because the bottom just touches otherwise. That'll all be hidden by the star. And then I think I'm going to do a red border around the badge, the Star Wars part, and then do Return of in silver or chrome, and then Jedi in gold. I think that's where we're heading on that. But I was going to keep this one basic. I was maybe going to spritz it with a little bit of silver. I don't know, that might still look pretty cool, especially with the silver star. So we'll see at that point in a little bit here. I'll make up my mind on that. But I glued the cockpit to the top. But I think what I should do is tape this back and then hit this hole, because we're going to have to light block this hole underneath. So I should have done it before I glued them up, but it's what's done is done. But I could always just tape up the doorway and even put a piece of tape right across there. That way when I hit the back with some light blocking, we don't get overspray in our cockpit. But the cockpit looks pretty good. It's glued in there, got a clear coat, just got to run the fiber optics. The doorway came out really nice, cutting all that out. So I'm happy with that. This part's glued in, which we did the last update. So with this, I'll have to start. I think we'll get all this glued together, because that's going to go in there, and then we can start hitting the wall gray back in here, just in case you see a little bit of it from an angle. And then we got to get that nose piece glued in there. But I think I have to clean up a little bit of the parts here. No, they're pretty good. I thought there was flashing on some of those little spots. That one there has a point to it, so I'll probably sand that. And we got to get that little part in there. But I think it's going to be better once we get that together, to get that in there kind of at the same time. And I just temporarily stuck the wings in there just to see what she looks like together. And that's what it looks like with everything in there. Well, I am noticing you almost want to, like, these get twisted a little bit. It's hard to get these wings, side wings, in there, because as twisted as all that gets, and them still move. But they're moving pretty good. Might have to take a file and file them a little bit, but they're moving pretty good. And like I said, I just stuck the top on there, and that's all lining up, and the fiber optics are coming down through the hole perfectly. So that's looking all good. And then we'll do an overall black, and then we'll do the hull color, and then I'll go in here and start painting this area before we attach this. But we'll at least get all the hull color, because all this can be the hull color. And then this ramp I'll make black to match the walkway here. And then we'll do all the grays. I think these lighted areas that I have taped off so that it'll glow, I might do in a light gray with the black stripes or something like that. We'll figure that out. Then we got to start doing the electronics on the inside. Get our flash board put in there, which is up in this cup. Put that flash board in there. And then we got to get the blue lights in here. I'm not sure if I want to build like a light box. I think that's what I'm going to do. That way those lights are like intensely just in those areas. Minimize light leak. I'll just make little styrene triangle boxes and then poke the 3mm. I think that's what I'll use. 3mm blue bulb on each side for that. And then we got to come up with a way of lighting this area. Whether we... I'm thinking one big strip light or two with a little jumper across there. And that's what we'll do. We'll do two small strip lights, and I don't know if we set them back. I can glue little tabs and then do a strip of styrene that will actually glue the LED strip tape on in there. That might be what we'll do. And then try not to mess up my fiber optics too much. And then on this guy, we got to put the two lights that are coming down for the flashers on the bottom, which is easy. We'll just boom and make a circuit. Like I said, if I can make, since this has two circuits and it flashes between them, I might make this one flash opposite of those. So when these are on, this is off, and then it'll flick back and forth. And like I said, this is going to be a slow flickering, because from the movie it's like a flash and then it waits for quite some time, and then a flash, because I'm sitting there waiting to try to see the locations, and it's like feels like forever. So it's not a fast flashing like maybe some of the Star Trek models. But I just wanted to show you an update where it is. Well, hello and welcome back. The cockpit area is coming along pretty good. Blackened all this, did some tulip around there, especially in these edges here. Make sure we don't have any light leaking up through those seams and here. But that all area kind of fit pretty tight, but just in case. And then I took a little sprue piece and glued that to the underside here, and glued a 5mm LED there, and then painted some black around there, make sure it's not glowing. And that'll be for our fiber optics. I was going to put it down here, but then I have the fibers up here, and I guess I could have attached it then and then put that down. I guess I could have done it that way, but at least this way it's all up here, and then the wires need to come out this way anyway, because then when this goes down, then I can tuck them onto this wall, and then they'll drop down on the other ship and hopefully won't be seen. But once I glue them here, then I can move them over to this wall and then paint that wall, and it'll look like just a piece of conduit going down, because I'll use the magnet wire, so it'll look like just a little electrical thing going down the wall. So, but let's dig out some fiber optics. I think what we're using is these. And one's already open. I bought these a long time ago. Yeah, they're the same. So this bundle's open already. It's still nice and neat. I probably had those for 4 years or so now. I think for the Falcon build is what I got these. Don't even remember where. I think on eBay. Alright, so we'll poke a couple these through, mushroom the ends. Do I have a lighter or even a little tea candle? I could start my solder iron. That would work too. I guess we just grab colors and go. We got blues, purples, greens, yellows, reds, orange. I know I want bigger ones than those two, so I'm not sure what I want to do with those and what size will fit through there. Well, those. Coming direct, maybe through the door here. No, that's even too big. 1 millimeter is too big. Do I have a 50? Yeah. Alright, well, I do have 50. That'll definitely fit. Or 0.5 millimeter. Yeah, that's no problem. Okay. So it's going to look like it's going to be 0.25 and 0.5. Alright. Okay, so what we're going to do is stick some through. Try to keep the ends because they do color these colored ones if we want to use the actual colors. If you're cutting them short, you gotta kind of keep the ends because the ends is the color. If you cut them and like in the middle, you lose that colored end and it doesn't really transfer the color through it anymore. The coating on the main outside is really just to show you what color it is. It's the coloring on the ends that actually transfer it. So let's go with a blue. And I wonder how I want to go about doing all this. This is definitely going to be time consuming, so I'm probably going to do it off camera. But it's really just going to be sticking these in and then gluing them, probably with a canopy glue. Yep, just doing that. Probably should come in through the top. Some of my actually have to stick the drill bit through because the paint has closed them up a little bit. Just enough. Oh, it finally went through. But yeah, this is going to be threading through a lot of stuff, so I'm going to do it off camera. We'll come back with them all out. That's all it's going to be. Sticking them through. Mushroom the one end on this side so it'll pull through and it actually gives it a little stop when you just mushroom just a hair with some heat. And we'll get them to length and then put a, I'm hoping I can get a piece of shrink tube, or I do have some tubes for pre-made ones like this for fiber optics that have that shield. Well, I didn't use it for something, so I could probably slide one of those over top of this because I believe they are 5 millimeters. So, but we'll be back. Well, hello and welcome back. I got all the fiber optics in. Basically just cut them to length that I know would reach down when we place it at the bulb. And then I put a little window maker where I could see the holes poking through and just slid them down through. Mushroomed the ends before I pulled them all the way through. That one's loose, so we have to re-glue that one because it sunk back down. That blue one right there. So I'll hit it with a little more window maker. I was letting it sit like this when it dried overnight. As I was doing them, I was letting them sit like this so they'd fall down. But overnight, I was letting this hoping that the window maker would flow down into the holes a little better as well, so it really seals up the, there we go, so it really seals up the fiber optics in the holes. If it falls down in the holes and clears the whole thing, and since the window maker dries clear, we won't ever see if anything oozes around it. Yeah, that's down far enough. So that's where that is. And they're lighting up pretty good. Even just hitting them from the side. I don't know if I can. No, it's not going to get in an area where you're going to be able to see them. But they are. They're glowing really nice. So we'll let that set. I'll start working on that. And then the base, I went through and clear coated. I did the red border around, and then I hit it with a clear, and then I went with my chrome marker, and then I have a gold one too. And this is a chrome marker, chrome gold, and did the lettering in a chrome for return of the, and then the Jedi did in gold. But I have these. These are pretty cool. You can get them on Amazon fairly cheap. They're really nice. These two are the 1mm, and then I have one of each that are the 3mm markers. They even come with new tips because of the way they are. You can hear they have a ball in them, and they have this tip that you push, so they give you extra tips for that flowing. Make sure you always want to make sure they're sealed good, though. They are an alcohol based. So that worked really good. I like those. This is painted silver. I did some JB welding there to hold this rivet in. And then she'll go here on there. It looks like I gotta clean a little more right there for that to sit down correctly. Still getting a little wobbling, and I can see that the post is wanting to hit right there. Can I use this tool? Not the tool I really want to be using, but it'll work. Especially you got to be careful with this. This is a clear plastic, and so it's very brittle. Let's see if that cleared it out enough. There's a little notch on one of these that fits in that hole, so you know which way is what. I've been trying to keep. There it is. Yeah, it was just hitting that corner there. Like I said, that rivet comes down and just hits the original base. But that's okay, because then once we glue this on top, I'll probably go in with some resin and fill all that to give it a little more strength. But that is our base. And definitely a little tulip, because I see a little, you can see a little bit of the hole. Like just the light coming through. So we'll probably have to JB weld a little, or tulip that once we glue everything together. But that's nice and easy. And then the jack hole's going in the back. I probably could have held off on putting this there, because I am going to put it on a wooden base, but I think it's going to be a thin wooden base, so this jack here will work anyway. Should close that up. But that's basically where we're at. We're going to start getting this together here, but I'm going to empty out these SD cards, upload them into the computer, and then reformat them and see if that solves the problem on that camera.